last week I did a short. Last week I did a short, a long and painful short on chromatics and chord tones. And today I just want to expand a little bit on that. I love jazz and I love music that has a little bit more of a complex melody or harmony. But I understand that sometimes when you hear jazzers talk or people really into theory, it can seem like, you've got to be some kind of quantum physicist or genius just to play jazz, But I play it, so that's clearly not true. But this lesson's not a jazz lesson as such. I just want to talk about these particular notes that you often hear in jazz, these kind of outside notes. And I want to show you a couple of tips on how to access those notes, but without, getting bamboozled by music theory. I'm going to do it in 3 ways. I'm going to show you how to do it via chord tones, via the pentatonic scale, and then via the major scale. And all 3 of these, we're going to do it using a chromatic approach. And by using this chromatic approach, we're going to access all of these cool notes. But it's very simple. So whatever you can apply it to, and you'll be using these cool, funky notes immediately. So, first of all, I want to get a nice little loop going, and I'm going to use 2 very basic chords, a G and a C, probably 2 of the first chords you learn on the guitar, and we'll just get a nice little groove. So, what we're going to do, we're going to focus on chord tones to begin with. So, by chord tones, I mean like all of the notes that really live within the chord. So here I'm using a G like this, and a C, okay? And for the melody, I'm going to really keep it simple and just focus on these notes that live within the chord, okay? Then for those outside notes, those cool kind of jazzy notes, I'm simply going to move the chord up 1 fret, or I'm going to move it down 1 fret. And those notes are going to be my outside notes, my kind of more dark sounding, mysterious outside notes. It's like I go outside, get into some trouble, get into a fight, then I come back and have a nice cup of tea. Always returning home, okay? So let's give it a shot. We start off with staying at home, and then I gradually go outside. Let's take it out a little bit. With that lick, I just brought the G chord up 1. Got those more dark sounding notes. Just go 1 fret above the note, listen. And you just create that tension, You can even do licks with it. Just take a lick, like... licks, If you know a lick, try it out. Try and move it either side and get that tension. See? I'm just using chord tones, the notes within the chord, and then after a little while I started throwing in a couple of licks, and the concept stayed the same. I'm just taking it, moving it up 1 fret, or moving it down 1 fret, and then coming back home. And by going up or down, you create that tension, and then you release it when you come home. You know, it's like, it makes those home notes even more impactful, you know. Like if I go outside, if I've got a fire in my house, you know, and I'm at home all the time, you know, that fire's like, all right, whatever. But if I go out into a blizzard, when I come back, that fire's going to be like the best thing in the world. And that's what we're doing here. We're really making those home notes way more powerful by going outside. Okay, and that example was using predominantly chord tones, then I threw in a couple of licks. Now I want to talk about the pentatonic scale. I think that's a scale that we all as guitarists would kind of learn first, really. And you can do the same thing, you know. I can play full pentatonic licks, just moving it up or down a fret from where I'm from G, for example. I move it up 1 fret, I move it down, and then I come back to the G pentatonic. I'm going outside and I'm coming home. It's the same thing. I'm just applying it to a scale. Let's give it a shot. Same loop. See what I mean? I was adding some pentatonic scale riffs in there, and I was just moving it up and moving it back down and getting the same thing. You know, it's really just something that you need to use your ear with, you know. Apply it to everything you know, you know. If you know chord and shapes, if you know licks, if you know pentatonic scale, you can do this with it, and as soon as you move it up, you start adding some tension, you bring it back down. It's just a nice little trick to get some beautiful tension into your playing. Okay, let's move on to something a little bit more advanced. We can even do a little bit of jazz, why not? I'm going to use the major scale this time, okay? And I'm going to use it on a 6-2-5-1. Don't worry if you don't know what that is. It's a jazz progression in the key. I'm going to do it in the key of F, which will be these chords: D minor 7, G minor 7, C7, F major 7. Beautiful. Okay, let's get a loop going again, and we see what we can do with the major scale. Okay. Okay, so I got the loop going. Now, over this, I'm going to play the F major scale, okay? All you jazzers out there will know that it's got, by playing F major over this, I play the Aeolian, the Dorian, Mixolydian and Ionian modes. But who cares? We're just playing F. Okay? Let's go. F major. Very smooth, eh? So, that's just the F major scale. Now, I want to show you something. Look at this chord. That's a C7. So if you get a chord where it's like a letter and then 7 afterwards, that's a dominant chord. And those dominant chords can take some abuse. So what I'm going to do, when I get to that C, I'm going to move up 1 fret and I'm going to play C sharp major, okay? I'm not really going through the shapes for you here, but with the pentatonic I used earlier, you can find all those shapes online, very easy. This is C sharp major, so like, you know, do, re, mi, major scale. And I'm going to play that major C sharp over the C, okay? So I'm literally just moving it up 1, and listen to how kind of funky it sounds. There we went. Here it comes. Back up to some chord tones. Here it comes. Keep it in. Here we go. Pretty jazzy, eh? Now what happened there was I was playing a C7 and I played the C sharp. It's the same as before. I'm just taking it up another notch, another level of complexity. And the theory behind it, the reason it works, if you want to know, is you know that C sharp scale. It contains all of those altered notes, you know, like that you hear in jazz, like the flat 9. It's got, if I in terms of its relationship with the C chord that I'm playing it over, it contains the flat 9, sharp 9, 11, flat 5, sharp 5, dominant 7, and the root. So that's why it sounds so cool, but that doesn't matter. All I'm thinking is, move it up a fret, move it back down a fret. You know, it's simple. I'm keeping it always simple in my mind so that I can play these things, you know. Because for me, if I get too bogged down with theory, my music goes down the toilet. I can't play, you know. It took me a while to get to this point because I would be like playing these tunes, I'd be thinking, oh, what mode am I playing? And by the time, I've got so much going on in my head, I've got no time left for feel, you know. So I had to find some ways to kind of get some cool notes happening, but in a more natural and flowing way, a way that I could just do it easily without having to be completely bamboozled. And this is one way that I did, you know. It's a trick, really, you know. I'm moving up and down from where I'm at to get these outside notes, you know. I'm not claiming to have solved jazz with my little uppy downy trick, you know. It's just a way of accessing some notes, and I wanted to share it with you guys today. But that's it, really. Hopefully you get something from this lesson. Yeah. Well, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, you know. Send me cash, you know. Sign over the deeds to your house to me. Do all that great stuff. All that nice internet-y stuff. Do it for me like you do for all those other internet guys. And thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Ciao.